Okay, let's get this started. Now, there is this media report that says that IIM Bangalore is the one who is going to conduct CAT 2022. As soon as this news came out, lot many students are asking, sir, what to expect? Kya hoga? Sir, paper எப்படி இருக்கும், sir? Lot of questions are happening now. And my first response was, does it really matter? I mean, those days when my days, we never knew who created this paper. I believe the first time that information about who actually, which is the IM that actually conducted the paper, uh, that information first happened in the year 2003. The reason why that happened because the paper got leaked. Yes, 2003 paper got leaked, and came to know that IMA obviously did not leak it. Okay, but IMA was the one which conducted that particular paper. Now 2003 was conducted by IMA, and I also know that 2006 was conducted by IMA. Now, if I compare 2003 paper to 2006 paper, these are two very different papers. The verbal section of 2003 was had a completely different flavor to 2006, even though this was conducted by the same institute which is IMA. So, to even answer this question, which is what to expect, we are assuming that IIM Bangalore has a certain agenda and they have a fixed agenda every time they conduct the CAT. And somehow we'll be able to figure out that agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular session is probably going to be useless because after all, what I'm going to sit and do is make speculations. And I'll probably say some 15 things, and maybe I will hit one or two things, and then after at the end of actual CAT, I can say, look, I predicted what's going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen now. But since you want to know what to expect, let's have a conversation around it. Now, the one thing that we'll have to do is go back and look at when was the last time IIM Bangalore conducted the CAT. In the recent year, it was 2016. Okay. But even before looking at this 2016 paper, let's try and figure out, is there any IIM Bangalore flavor? Is there any way that IIM Bangalore looks at the CAT test? Let's look at their admission criteria. Now, for the initial stage, which is the initial shortlist, right? Out of the 100 points, 40 points is allotted to the CAT. The remaining 60 points allotted to your graduation scores, your work experiences, about 8 points. Then you've got, I believe that gender diversity has got some points. They've got 10 to 12 score and so on and so forth. But the 40 point is allotted to the CAT. Now, what is interesting is that 40 point is allotted like this. Now, CAT has look at a 3-year, a 3 hour, sorry, a 3-hour paper. You had 34 questions of VARC, 32 questions of DALR, and 34 questions of QA. Now, in the CAT, that would mean 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 weightage was allotted to each of these sections. Even if we look at last year of the 2-hour version, we had 24 questions of VARC, 20 questions of DLR, and 22 questions of QA. That's more or less still very close to about equal distribution. But what IIM Bangalore does for its selection criteria is they actually give VRC 14 points, DALR 16 points, and QA 10 points. So what is IIM Bangalore thinking? A, we want people who are has got analytical bent of mind, and then we want them to have good comprehension skills. Quant, basic. Okay. Oh, now we can, I'm sure that we can make some inference. Maybe if IIM Bangalore is going to create the papers, they'll probably look at DLR and make the DLR very tough. But if if that were the case, then they should have done that in 2016 also. Let's look at the 2016 paper. Unfortunately, the 2016 paper is not available. It's from 2017 that they started releasing the paper, so we don't have the actual paper. What we have is analysis that we had done back then. So if you look at the 2016 paper, it had BRC 34 questions, DLR 32 questions, QA 34 questions. This was the pattern in 2015 as well. So 2016 had the same pattern. And kind of if you look at till 2019, there's exactly the same pattern of the CAT. CAT never changed the pattern. And 2020 and 2021, it became a 2-hour test because of the COVID situation. Now, even then, the type of questions that are being asked has not changed. For instance, in verbal, it is reading comprehension, paragraph jumble, paragraph summary, odd sentence in a paragraph. So that's something that we have seen from 2015 till 2021. Now, if you look at the VRC section, the options were a bit tricky. But which cat? Every cat has tricky options. 2021 had tricky options. 2020 had tricky options. One passage was a little painful, but that was the case in 2019 also. In 2020, 2021, probably many more passages were painful. Overall manageable, yes. So, so how different was it? Okay. If you look at the VA sections, paragraph jumble, odd sentence were difficult. Now, paragraph jumble was difficult even in 2016 and 2017 also, because in those years, the paragraph jumble had 5 sentences, and 5 sentences paragraph jumble is painful, and is also the initial years of these type of questions, no odd sentence. So 2015 was probably the first year that what the odd sentence question used to be there back in the year 2009 onwards, but they had 4 sentences. You had to pick one odd sentence. I think it was from 2015 we start saying this odd sentence question, which had got 5 sentences. Now, therefore, 2016 is naturally difficult at that point in time because it was fresh, new. Paragraph summary was easy to moderate. So that was 2016 paper for VRC. If you look at DLR, about 4 sets were manageable. I'm not going to call it easy. 4 sets manageable. 4 sets were challenging. In both the slots, typical that was the case, but that's also something that we see even today. Couple of sets manageable. Lastly, if you look at it, in some slot, 2 sets manageable, 2 sets challenging. 50% manageable, 50% challenging. That's how DLR always has been. When I look at QA, we have got what 11 arithmetic questions, 7 algebra question. Arithmetic weightage was slightly higher in all these years. The only thing is that there were only 7 non-MCQ questions out of the 34. So 2015, I believe, had 10 non-MCQ question out of 34. The percentage of non-MCQ question, which is the type in the answer question, was less, but moderate level of difficulty. If I look at the percentile during in 2016, 99 percentile was 157 marks, which is 52 percentage. Now, 99 percentile is more or less always have been 50 percentage, and a 90 percentile score or 90 percentile rank always have been about 33, 35 percentage marks. So really, I mean, what? I mean, what do you do? I'm just thinking. Let's assume that IIM Bangalore decided that I'm going to make, are they going to make verbal ability very tough? But my question is, how does that matter? It's tough not just for me. It's going to be tough for everyone, and there's a relative test. If they make, let's say, quant easy, how does that matter again? It's not just easy for me. It's going to be easy for all. So when you look at CAT, we're anyway getting prepared for any kind of possibilities. Now imagine that we have got a section which has got easy, let's say easy to moderate, moderate, moderate to difficult, difficult. So let's say 5 possibilities in terms of how a section can be presented to you. Easy, easy to moderate, moderate, moderate to difficult, and difficult. And let's say there are 5 possibilities with respect to how they can present you VRC, 5 possibility for DLR, 5 possibility for QA. That means there are total what 125 possibility. One of them is going to come. And what is the point in speculating which one would come? And how would we ever know how IIM Bangalore is thinking? I already talked about the IIM Ahmedabad papers, right? When 2003, 2006. I'm just looking at the old thing. Look at those two papers and see if it's conducted by the same IIMs. IIM Indore has been conducting the papers over the years. Actually anyone say that, okay, I can actually make a comparison between this? Last year there were three slots. Now between these three slots we had different flavors. One slot had a slightly difficult VRC, other slot was slightly manageable VRC. One slot had a slightly difficult BLR, other slot slightly manageable. Within each, on that day we had different variations or slight variations. So, so for anyone and everyone who is trying to spend time thinking about this, I think it's going to be a complete waste of time. Cat in the last 6 7 years, and in fact over the years, has been testing the same set of skills. You should not be bothered about these ones. Should not be. Your attitude should be whatever is a paper that that IIM Bangalore is going to give me. You'll say, bring it on, man, bring it on. I will handle. There, of course, a few other things for me personally is interesting, right? This is fine. You'll manage. Whatever the paper that's going to come is you're going to manage. There are a few other things that I am personally interested. Some other decisions. The number one is that I am Bangalore did some pretty interesting decisions when it came to 2016. In 2015, the CAT happened in 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Two slots on Saturday, two slots on Sunday. There were four tests. In 2016, I am Bangalore's the one who said that we're going to do it in one day, two slots. And that made little better sense because the normalization was better. All right. Here you had to normalize across four slots. And I remember a conversation around the time saying that the cat should be done in one slot itself. Therefore, this all this normalization business can be removed. But okay, so it's kind of will be interesting how I am Bangalore will treat uh, this year situation. So with respect to whether it's going to be 2 hours or 3 hours. If it's going to be 2 hours, how many slots will they do it in one day, or can they even think about doing it in 2 days? Okay, some that'll be an interesting thing to look at. Other thing that was in 2015, and most of the cat time the cat was held in normal last week. In 2016, I remember it was held in December first week. I don't know the reason behind it, but they decided to go with December first week. So I have this feeling that IIM Bangalore is going to be fair to the test. They will probably make some changes uh, if at all a change needs to be made. If at all there is something that needs to be done, I think one of the decisions that they will have to obviously take, this is collectively as an institute, is whether it's going to be a 2 hour test or 3 hour test. This will be largely based on the COVID situation. Is a COVID that forced a 2 hour paper? I don't think that it was based on any other decision apart from the fact that in two slots you had to manage more number of students per slot. So if you had three slots, you could manage less number of students per slot. So whether it is going to be a 2 hours or 3 hours, that's something that they would have to decide. But if it's a 2 hour test, I believe there is there anything worth changing in a 2 hour test? I believe there are a couple of things that are worth looking at. The number one thing is there was a change from 2020 to 2021 with respect to the total number of questions. 2020 had 76 questions, 2021 had 66 questions. Now the 66 question makes little more sense in, in the sense that we earlier we had 3 hours, 100 questions. So if 3 hours became 2 hours, there was a reduction of one third. Therefore, the number of questions should also be reduced by one third. So 66 would have made sense. So when it was 76 question, and one of the decisions as to why they said 66 last year was we wanted people feel that 76 is too many questions. We want people to manage the paper. So let's give you 66 questions. And this is what the change that they made. In 2020, VRC was 26 questions, DLR was 24 questions, QA was 26 questions. 2021, VRC is 24 questions, DLR is 20 questions, QA is 22 questions. But did they really change anything? Now look at this. In VRC, four passages, 8 VA question. in 2020, 2021, 4 passages, 8 VA question. This is reduced 2 questions. I think earlier there were in 2020 you had 5 passages had 5 questions plus 5 questions plus 4 questions plus 4 questions. This had every passage had 4 questions or each passage had 4 questions. Now it's kind of it okay. Another thing is think about this, right? So when you had a 3 hour paper, 1 hour for VRC, there were 5 passages with 10 VA questions. And assuming that you can knock off each passage in about 9 minutes. So 9 5s are 45 minutes, 10 VA questions, 1.5 minutes per question, 15 minutes. 5 passages, 45 minutes, 10 VA questions, 15 minutes. 45 plus 15, 60 minutes. 60 minutes paper, 60 minutes. This is nice. Now we've got 4 passages. Now these passages are also 500-word passages, like how we used to be earlier. 9 times 4 is 36 minutes. 8 times 12, 8 times 1.5 minutes is 12 minutes. 36 plus 12 is 48 minutes. But so what did they change last year? So what they proposed with respect to the 60 question really did not happen. And what they changed was in DLR from 5 sets, it went to 4 sets. Okay, now think about that. More number of sets in DLR is better because I have more choices to pick the sets from. When it was 1 hour section, we had 8 sets. 1 hour, 8 sets. 40 minutes, 4 sets. 1 hour, 8 sets. 40 minutes, 4 sets. So this kind of little logical. I mean, if it is a 2 hour test, this could be something that IIM Bangalore could think about. Either give these 4 passages, but give passages which are 400 words, manageable, or give 3 passages. Now 3 into 9 is 27 plus 8 VA question in 12 minutes. 27 plus 12 is 39 minutes. That would make sense. But I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know what they're going to do. The point again is these are all decisions that IIM Bangalore will have to take. And whatever the decision that they take, we don't have any role to play. When I say we, you and I, no role whatsoever. And whatever decision that they make, that is a decision that is going to impact everyone equally, whether it's a 2 hour test, whether it's a 3 hour test. If it's a 2 hour test, whether it's 76 questions, 66 questions, or even 60 questions, whether there are going to be 4 passages or 5 passages or 3 passages, whether going to be 4 sets or 5 sets of DLR, or the math has got less number of non-MC question or more number of non-MC question, whatever be the situation or the decision that IIM Bangalore makes, that's a decision for all of us. And whatever be the level of difficulty of the paper, that is the same for all of us. And just because it's IIM Bangalore who is conducting the test, it's trying to think and speculate about it and even discuss about it. To me, is not worth it. But how can anyone figure out what they're going to do? And is there any point in this? So, like I told you, complete useless video. You were before the start of this video till now, you did not learn anything. And the whole purpose, there is nothing to learn. You go and study for the CAT. You know the skill set that is needed to ace the test. You focus on the test and you tell yourself, IIM Bangalore, you bring it on. You bring it on. Whatever. You bring it on. I will handle it. So that's all I had to say. Goodbye.